7 practices in. What the quarterbacks look like at this point, and how have they progressed since the first practice?
Yeah, I think both the quarterbacks so far have done really well. I think the offense in general has handled the installation extremely well. It puts a little bit more on the coach, takes a little bit of pressure off of the offense, and they're handling it really well. I think Trace and Tommy's numbers have been really competitive. Completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, moving the ball down the field. They've done a nice job. And they both have movement, which has helped. I know it's caused the defense some headaches, but I think they've done well. I think the offense in general has done well.
Can you explain what it means by it takes or puts more on the coach?
Well, I think you guys know what I'm talking about in terms of the quarterback looks back to the sideline. So we've always done check with me's, but now they're actually going to look back to the sideline in certain circumstances, and the coach will check the play from the sideline based on different looks and things like that. So, and then up front, I think you guys have heard Coach Limegrover talk about this is an offensive line friendly offense, and to be honest with you, a lot of these reasons we're talking about right now is why Joe's here. All these things factored into what I thought we needed based on our personnel and where we were at. And then just to fit. So up front, we run a lot of inside zone, a bunch of inside zone, so they have less schemes that the O-line is responsible for, and then the quarterbacks are able to look to the sideline, allow the coach to get them into the right play, and it's been real beneficial so far.
James, how much progress has the offensive line made, and how has Gaia looked at center?
Guy has looked good at center, and I think for a lot of the similar things we talked about, you kind of look at his skill set. He's a little bit undersized, but he's an experienced player. He's a smart guy. He's a leader, and he's willing. What we saw last year is he's willing to make the calls and communicate. So a guy that's going to take charge up front, it just makes sense. Based on his body type, his experience, those types of things. He's done a good job so far. You could tell he worked hard in the off season on snapping. Because obviously, as much as we're going to be in the gun, that's going to be very, very important. Offensive line, I think Matt, you can tell the guy's been doing it for a long time. He's very, very experienced. A lot of our philosophies through the hiring process, the interview process, and then what he's done. We're on the same page. Me, him, and Joe with things that we believe in, and I think obviously he's also been able to. Build off the fact that now these guys have experience, we have depth, we have size. I was looking at Noah Bay out there today. He looks like a different guy, So the experience that they've had, the size that they've been able to put on, and now his years of experience blending all that together. I think we've made progress. We've still got a ways to go. Paris, I think, has made some progress. Sterling has really made some progress. A bunch of the guys have. Nelly's the guy that probably stands out the most right now. He's playing at a different level. Really, really detailed, really specific. Is really working on his craft right now. Sorry about that, guys.
Well, you mentioned the defense, flipping to the defense. Obviously, they had a transition coordinator as well, but it seemed to be the belief that wouldn't be nearly as hectic. Has that been the case? And are those guys on schedule with Brent?
Yeah, I think so. I know, I've had my meetings with every single one of the players, and the players are excited about it. They all really believed in Brent, and when we had the change. That a lot of them, communicated that they were hoping that's what would happen. So it's been really good. Obviously being able to get Naeem back and Bell. I mean, we got some good players for us that have been out. Having those guys back will really help. And then some of the defensive linemen we got coming in to give us a little bit more depth. But I think it's been really good. Our back seven, I think, has looked really good and much more competitive than we've been. On challenging routes and playing with a little bit more confidence. Up front, I think we're really strong at DN. D tackle, we still have some things that we got to get solved, which is obvious to you guys. And then linebacker, the reps for Manny and Cooper are invaluable. So if you want to look at it as a blessing, the fact that Naeem and Bell aren't here, you'd love to have them. But the fact that Cooper and Manny are getting twice the reps that they would is going to help us in the long run.
Jason Gabinda was taking some reps with the third team today. Is that him trying to be more of a leader, or is that just a numbers thing where you need to?
Yeah, it's just a numbers thing. Okay. Yeah, we don't need Jason Cabinda's leadership on the threes. It's a numbers thing. I get it. But yeah.
He talks about being a leader when teaching the younger guys. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't need him out there on the field doing it, though. It's just a numbers thing for us right now. We have some flexibility at the outside linebacker position, whether we go money or whether we go star, to get another body in there, a safety body or a corner, but it's hard to do it at Mike linebacker. Yeah, Saeed's doing well. He tested extremely well, and Saeed's a guy that's always tested really well. And up till really, this point, it hadn't translated onto the field the way you think. And don't get me wrong, he's played really well for 2 years, but based on his numbers, you'd expect even more. You talk about a guy that's almost been a 400-pound bench press and can run and do all these things. This spring, I'm starting to see it really translate for him. I think the wide receivers, kind of what we were talking about with the O-line, you got a bunch of guys now who have played a lot of ball. We've been young for 2 years at wideout, and now all that experience and all that reps is really helping him. Tompkins looks completely different right now. Last year he looked like a redshirt freshman, and right now he's so much stronger. Polk's so much stronger. But I've been really pleased. I've been really pleased with Saeed.
At tight end,
that's who we started out talking about, right, Saeed? At
tight end, you have some new faces and a different position coach. How are things working out for you there?
Good. When this happened, it made sense. Ricky, was the tight ends coach at Kansas State. He had done it before. It's not like he's coaching a position he's never coached before. We have tremendous experience, together, me and Ricky as well. So I was really confident. The tight end that we had at Kansas State, went on and played in the NFL for a bunch of years. So he's got great experience with that. He's a very, very knowledgeable guy. He's done a nice job. As you guys know, he took over, play calling duties at the end of the year. That's how much belief we have in him. That's been really good, and it's a good group to work with. You got some experienced guys, with Mike Jasicki, who's played some football, and I know is really motivated to have a strong year this year. And then the guy everybody's really excited about is Bowers. He's 265 pounds, strong, physical, but lacks experience. And then some young up and comers like Holland and Dalton behind him that that just need a chance. I think Dalton, coming in as a mid-semester guy, is really doing well right now. Is doing really well right now for the reasons we recruited him.
You said early on that McSorley was understandably a little ahead of the game because of his experience. I think that's still the case, and how close or how is Tommy Stevens kind of closing that gap, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that's still the case. I think the experience, the reps, the fact that he's been the number 2 for a full year. You tell guys all the time, you got to prepare like you're the starter, but when you're redshirting and when you're the number 2 quarterback and you could go in at any point, you prepare differently. So that experience, the fact that he played in the Georgia game and then played a little bit in some other games and some mop-up type stuff, that stuff helps him. So he's still a little bit ahead, but it doesn't matter who's ahead right now in practice number 7 of spring ball. It really matters, where they are, maybe halfway into camp, if it takes that long to decide.
2 more.
You mentioned defensive tackle earlier as one of the position battles. Who are the guys that are standing out there to you? Guys like Parker Cothran, and they sort of moved up. You mentioned Ryan Monk in the pocket stand a little while back. Who are the guys that have impressed you there after second practice?
Yeah, Monk's exciting because of where he started. He's not ready for prime time right now, but I'm proud of him and his development and kind of where he started. I think Windsor's the guy that people are excited about. Windsor and Parker, we feel really good about those 2 guys at the nose. At the 3 technique, Curtis has really done some nice things in there. He needs to put some more weight on, but I don't see that being a problem. Him being able to put on at least 10 more pounds before the season starts. But he's done a nice job. I was concerned he might play too high because he's a long guy, but he's doing a nice job in there, and he's very athletic. And then Gibbons is kind of the buzz of camp right now. He is physical. He can get off blocks. In passing situations, he's got the quickness as defensive end experience, him and Curtis. So, those guys have done a nice job. And then Antoine, has had a really good all season. Antoine dropped some weight to kind of get his body fat down, and then he needs to put that weight back on, the right weight. But that'll give us 5 guys that I think we feel really good about. And then we got some guys coming in with the junior college guys that will add to that depth and make it a real competitive position for camp. Then we'll feel really good about what we got at the end. And then, hopefully those 2 guys coming in will create really good depth and competition inside for us.
James,
but I do feel, I feel that everybody does agree, the coaches, that move with Curtis and Givens was the right one. A lot of times you're not sure. Everybody feels strongly that was the right move for those guys based on two things: what they've done so far in there, and also what we have at the end.
Where are you at with the kickers, one? And secondly, have you determined where Joe will be on game day? Joe Moorhead.
Yeah, Joe will probably be on the sideline. It really just comes down to comfort. I still feel like, from my perspective, it's easier to call the game from the box. You just see more. But it really comes down to just where you're most comfortable doing it. And since he's been a head coach, he's comfortable doing it on the sideline. So we'll probably stay with that at this point, unless some things change. But at this point, that's our plan, based just on comfort.
Where are you at with the kickers?
Yeah, the kickers, it's still wait and see. What they've really done for the last 2 years, they show flashes. Daniel Pasquarello shows at times he's got as strong a leg as anybody in the country, but it's consistency. Gula had been more consistent so far, wasn't so much today. Tyler and Bumiri, kind of same thing. Tyler, I think, has been pretty good with field goals, but needs to do a better job on kickoffs. So, I think that position's a little bit like D tackle, that we feel solid about what we're at right now. And then the two guys coming in, kind of like the junior college players at the D tackle position, will create some real competition and see how it goes. But I wouldn't say anybody at this point has kind of grabbed hold of the spot.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.